I have over 800 physical video game titles in my collection, and one of the biggest hurdles that I have faced is displaying my collection to make it look as elegant and presentable as possible. I have a very small space to work with, so I make the most of it. And in this video, I'll go over how I display my collection. I'll give you a bit of a tour, but really break it down how I display my collection to separate it from the rest. First thing is the shelves. Now there's a variety of different shelves out there that you can use, but I chose to go with the Billy bookcase and the Gnedby from Ikea. Now these are fairly expensive, but I like them because they're uniform in height and build quality. And in the future I would like to use all Gnedby DVD shelves simply because you can reconfigure the shelves to different heights for a more fun look. The Billys are pretty good shelves, but they're too deep for displaying video games, and I have to actually put things behind the games in order to have them face to the edge of the shelf. They do work very well for PC games, and I have a larger one out in the living room that showcases some books and some bigger video game accessories. The games that I display on the Gnedby are sorted by system, although one shelf is exclusive NES games, and all the other games they're sorted into system and then they're sorted alphabetically. And I try to keep the systems uniform, and I don't really like stuffing my shelves, so if I run out of room on my shelves, I either buy more shelves or I just store the video games away. And this allows me to swap out games and reorganize every so often, which I find to be pretty therapeutic. Another style of IKEA shelf that I have in my collection is the Kallax, and these are a little bit different than the Billy or the Gnedby because they don't have a back, but I really like them because they can support my books and consoles. And while I don't have all of my consoles on display, it's really nice to showcase some collector's editions and also house my storage cabinets, and this is where I keep controllers, cables, and adapters. Now on this side there's actually two Kallax shelves. One is a single 4 stack and the other is a 2x2 cube layout. And there's bigger ones as well, like the one that my wife uses that has 16 spaces, and eventually I might go with one of those when we get a bigger permanent home. Now, in addition to the shelves from Ikea, I do have official storage solutions from Nintendo. One is to showcase my SNES collection, although this shelf only accommodates 12 SNES games at a time, and I like it because it means that I have to choose 12 of the 53 Super Nintendo games in my collection. And of course, I can always go and swap them out if I feel the collection is getting a bit stale. And the other storage solution isn't a shelf so much as it's a drawer. I found this Nintendo 64 drawer at a thrift store for $3, and since I didn't have a way to display my Nintendo 64 games before, I actually kept them in a shoebox, I decided to pick it up. And this houses all 24 of my Nintendo 64 games, and I think I have all the ones that I really want. Mario Kart, Zelda, GoldenEye. I'm not really interested in the full set, but I do think I'm going to invest in one of those spine label deals because it's pretty difficult to see what game I'm picking, although I do come close to picking the one that I want because they are in alphabetical order. Now, that's pretty much all my games. On the other side of my game room is where I have my PC, and when I first moved in I had a glass desk which did the job right, but I wasn't maximizing the space. And also when I moved in, this was before I started a YouTube channel, so the space wasn't optimal for gathering gaming footage and actually shooting video. And I like to play games on the original CRT television, and it's an original feel. I know that there's other people who use HDMI and these FPGA systems, but eventually I might get into that, but for now I don't have the space for another large LCD TV, so the CRT works the best. And this Trinitron sits on my desk alongside my PC with the SNES games in between, and I also have a PlayStation 4 hooked up to my ultra-wide monitor so that I can play modern games from time to time. Now I do have an Xbox One in the living room where I display some of my other consoles. And the desk is again from Ikea. It's a Bekant, and I like it not only because it's sturdy, but it's adjustable. I should have spent the extra $50 to get one with the crank because it's a real pain to adjust the desk once it has everything on it. And also I have another file cabinet from Ikea, and that houses cables, adapters, and controllers. Now, one of the things that sets my collection apart from anybody else is the accessories that I use to augment my collection. Most notably, it's the artwork on the walls. And right now I have NES and SNES schematic posters that I got from backing the books from Bitmap on Kickstarter. And in addition to that, I have prints of patents from Nintendo controllers that I got for Christmas one year. And I also have a framed original Wizard poster with a signed photo of the angry video game nerd underneath. And on the opposite side, I have a Bowser from Super Mario World made in perler beads. My best friend made it for me from a wedding gift, and it's one of those pieces that's truly unique. I do have a lot of other pieces of art that are unfortunately stored away until I have a bigger permanent home, but just like my games, I like to rotate the art out from time to time. I use command hook strips on the back of each of my frames so that I'm not putting a whole bunch of holes in the walls, even though that there's still a couple of holes. But one of my favorite pieces are these Super Mario propaganda prints from Fro Design, and they're pretty unique and they come in a size no longer available. It's actually one of the reasons why I haven't bought any more. The artist currently makes them in 18 by 24 inch instead of 11 by 17, which is currently too big for my space, and also I like consistency across the set. Maybe one day I'll inquire to get a couple more in that size that I want. Another big piece of art that I have that's really nice is this hand-drawn map of Hyrule. I don't usually like big poster-sized prints, but I had to have this one, and it's been out of print for ages, but when I looked up the artist to give them credit, it appears that he's doing a reprint, and I'll leave a link to his art in the description below if you're interested in getting this piece, because it is a really awesome piece. And one of my most recent additions to the collection is this 3D art by 8-Bit Boutique. Now this artist has exploded over the past couple of months, and I knew that I wanted to add a piece to my collection. And this one is of the Wind Waker, and it wasn't that expensive. I think I paid £20, which comes out to like $22 US. And it did take a while to reach me since he's currently slammed with requests, but once he did come through, it's a really awesome piece to add to my collection. Now, original artwork isn't my only thing that I collect in addition to video games. I also have advertisements of my favorite video games. Some of them come out of magazines, but others are original flyers used to advertise upcoming games, like this Windjammers flyer. And I also have a first issue Nintendo Power that I plan to put into a frame along with the last one of the series. Of course, since space is limited, these are packed away for safekeeping. In addition to advertisements, I also have amiibos spaced throughout my collection and a mini Burger Time cabinet, and I also have a bunch of other toys that aren't necessarily video game related, like this Darth Vader helmet, Stormtrooper helmet, and even a gigantic TIE fighter. And I also have these toys by Jakks Pacific, and they are really nice to have because they're little 8-bit renditions of my favorite NES games in plastic form. You got Mega Man, Donkey Kong, Link, and Mario. They're all scattered out throughout my collection, which makes it just that unique to me. Now, for more of my collection, you can always check out my Instagram page. I just started it again to showcase my collection and also some random pickups that I come across. My username is Snicktendo, which also matches my Twitter handle, so be sure to follow me on there. And what do you think of my collection? Let me know in the comments below. I know it's not gigantic, but it works really well to me. And if you like this video, give it a like and consider subscribing for future video game content. I'm Super Nintendo, and I'll see you next time.